Hey everybody, it's Texas Stroke here at Lance's Performance Shop, Mopars.com. Just did the Matco 5K tool haul. Not sure when you'll see that. It doesn't seem to be like super high demand by the viewers, but I really wanted to get that Ratchet out and start using it. May have not been as great as I had hoped, at least initially. Optimistic that will change, but having just had this guy, that's a tough act to follow. So previously in Koken Tool Haul 1, we brought in, of course, you guessed it, screwdrivers. We also highlighted how we had a comedy of errors from the Postal Service bagging our order because it had this screwdriver sticking through the box, to getting deep sockets when I thought I had semi-deep and it matched the packing slip. I assumed like, hey, they must have weird semi-deeps and their deeps must be, you know, like this long, and then they have extra deeps and their shallows must be like super shallow. I was wrong. Everything should be pretty much standard. Follow up on that one. Let's just jump right into this order. This is tool haul number 2, and let me kind of get this stuff thrown out of here. We've got, first off, I guess we should start with this. Thank you, but this, they shipped this one obviously in a box, but it came in this really cool bag this time, so that's awesome. And it says, thank you for your order. So clearly, from the first time I ordered until this time, they've kind of spiffed things up even more. Koken USA, we develop our tools with original technologies. We are always improving, adapting, and expanding. We at Koken dedicate our time to forging tools that our consumers will love. We offer a wide array of precision sockets and ratchets to meet your needs. Our forging process is done with extreme precision to ensure each tool is created for optimum performance. Overwhelming range, engineering excellence, made in Japan. Thank you for your trust in the Koken brand. So, that's very cool. I'm not sure if that's going to be standard affair stuff or if it has to do with what's in the bag. So, what is in the bag, you ask? Well, we got some stickers here. And, we'll start with that guy, kind of the big square. And let me kind of start pulling some of this out, setting it off safely to the side. I don't want you to see it ahead of time. That would be terrible and defeat the purpose of the tool haul. So we can throw that down. That's another bag there. We can throw, let's grab this guy. Now that's going to be very important. We don't want to spoil that. If you do want to spoil it, I mean, you can use the timestamps because they are down below. I do that for your convenience. I'll also have links to the products. I make nothing off of this. That is solely there for your enjoyment. Until you make watching and surfing the video or coming back. If you're like, man, I'm going to order that thing. I've been thinking about it all day. Do it. It's literally for your enjoyment, to make your life a little easier. And again, I see nothing from that. So there's the big sticker. There's 2 small stickers. Very cool. Again, my first order didn't actually have stickers. The one where they sent me, you know, like the apology ratchet did. And that thing is awesome. It is not here because, again, like I said, do not plan to use it. I also got this, and at first I was like, man, I haven't seen like one of those, like, you know, wallet, driver's license, ID badge clouders in a really long time. And I'm excited about this. This is free. It's nothing I ordered. We didn't get like a pin or a notepad this time, but we got this deal. So what it is, it's got a scale on it, but check that out. I don't know if you can tell, but see how easy you can see Koken there versus here? It's a magnifying glass, right? So I'm dorkily excited about that. I don't know if that was their intent or not. But so many times, like, I've asked, like, man, I wish there was like some little lens or something I could do where we could really, really zoom in. That won't do that, but it'll give us some degree of zoom. So that's cool. Now, right here, this is where I realized things weren't what I thought they were. You've seen these in the previous video. We're not going to spend a ton of time. But 3300A-916, this is the 9/16 3/8 drive. Deep. It matches the rail set perfectly because, again, that's a deep socket set, not a semi-deep. This guy right here, we didn't spend a ton of time on because he is not a complete buzzkill. This is going to be part number 3400A-916. And this is their shallow. So this is a 3/8 drive, 9/16 shallow socket. Ooh, it's turning the wrong lens there. So that's what that's going to look like. Again, the Saga that you were probably curious about, like, hey, what's happening? You know, like, are they gonna send you the semi-deep set on the rail? What's going on? Do you get to exchange them? Again, the girl I had talked to originally was, I guess, no longer with the company, so that was kind of sad. She was super cool. But what they told me is, you know, hey, we apologize, that's terrible, you know, thanks for bringing that to our attention. And then they offered to do a return, and at that point in time I'm thinking, like, I've used these, you know, not all of them, like I said, probably like 3 or 4, maybe 5, 2 or 3 having pretty heavy use for the little time I've had them. And I was like, that's kind of, you know, sad for the company, you know, to have to take that back. And what are they going to do with it? You know, like, pull the used ones and have to repopulate it with singles and then sell it new. Or just, you know, accidentally send it out the door and someone would be like, man, what's wrong with the 9/16? It's got junk in it. So I was like, you know what, it's okay, you know, I'll keep these. I think I'm going to order the semi-deeps at some point in time. Preferably, you know, like when the quarter drive deal is out with 72 tooth action. That's honestly what I told them, and it's 100% true. I'll definitely be getting that in quarter drive. But what I asked was just, you know, hey, this is what I was planning to do. I was going to showcase shallow, semi-deep, and deep for the contrast. Is there any way you could just send a 3/8, 9/16? Because again, that's all I was going to showcase, you know. And then they said, yeah, absolutely. Problem is I would have waited to record this video, but that's out like at least a month or so. I want to showcase this particular product in this tool haul ASAP, so you can get in on it before it's gone. And then we will eventually come back and we will have deep, a spare deep, a shallow, and a semi-deep to showcase. And as soon as 2022 rolls around and they have that 72 tooth quarter drive Zilla Ratchet, we'll get it, and we'll probably get the semi-deeps. So at that point in time, I'll have quite a bit of seat time with these, hopefully in other sizes as well. We'll check for wear, any inconsistencies, and if I still like them, we'll pull the trigger. So, to this tool haul, again, that's why there's timestamps. If you don't care about the backstory, you don't have to sit through it. But Alpha Gloves, discount code of Lone Star, gets you 20% off. I make nothing off of that, I just tell you so you can save some money on some gloves. Now, this is where we start getting, you know, as I sit here and think about it, I honestly think we should just go right to the star item, because the others are sort of, spoiler alert, supporting candidates. And I think that's what we're going to do. The star item is, let's just throw it down so you've got some eye candy, okay? Which side do we want? Let's do it like this. There we go. It's not bad. I'll read you a story while you take that in and try to figure out what it is. Part number, and this is important. You're going to want to pay attention, and I will link this down below, direct to Koken, where if it's still available, you can order it. It should be the correct part. You'll definitely want to double check. But part number RS2450AS/5. Price point will be $65. Description: special 1/4 inch square drive nut grip SAE socket rail set, 5 pieces. That's right, this is a 1/4 drive socket set on a rail. And you're thinking, like, how'd you do that? Well, did you catch the rest of it? It was nut grip. Again, right here, just so we're totally on the same page and you can document this and order for yourself. RS2450AS/5, also linked down below for your convenience. As you can see, made in Japan, 1/4, 5/16, 3/8, 7/16, and 1/2. This is very important to me. It's leading me to do purchase a couple more items. It's going to tie in nicely with some things. I personally think I'm going to love this, and if I love it, I'm glad that I bought it. I might. One of the reasons also I'm opening this, just like the Matco Ratchet, I want to get these in use and see if I like them or hate them, and if I like them, I'm probably going to be a person that goes and buys more. What this is and what's special about it, this is their nut grip socket. If I tilt this up and you're like, whoa, it looks like there's a ball bearing on that landing pad right there, and what's that? There's one on this socket too. Yeah, going to be a common theme there. So these have ball bearings. What do the ball bearings do? They're designed to retain your fastener or your bolt, whatever it may be, whichever way you're threading in or out. So basically it serves as a fastener holder. and that's accomplished by way of the ball bearing. They have these in metric. I think they've had them in metric for a little while. This is their first ever dive into the SAE fractional, imperial, whatever you want to call it, marketplace with the nut grippers. Now, what's cool about the nut grip, this set, and this 5-piece set, is limited to 200 pieces. When I bought these, I think there were around 180 left. The cool thing about Koken, if you were to take the link down below, takes you to their website. Assuming they're still available, it'll say, you know, have the part description, an image, part number will be seen, the price of $65. You can read the description, but it'll have the kind of near the add to cart, you'll see the quantity. And if there's 150 left, if there's 94 left, if there's 2 left, you can throw this in your cart and buy it. That's supposedly all they're making of this particular set. Now, obviously, the end goal of Koken, they want these to sell. They wouldn't have made these if they didn't think they could sell. They're testing the marketplace. That's why there's only 200. If these sell, if these are well received, if maybe you had no idea these existed, but they would be great for you, maybe you see them in this video, you need to tell Koken, whether it's on social media, an email, a phone call, whatever, say, hey, I just saw these nut grips. I needed that in my life. I missed it. Can you please produce them? And the reason I say that's important is not necessarily because I want to see the same set repop so other people can get in on it. That would be great. I wouldn't mind seeing some other sizes. I wouldn't mind seeing this expand to a 3/8 or a 1/2 inch drive. Again, I deal with a lot of like larger fasteners. This has a particular purpose and place, being quarter drive. I think that's the point to start with. You can theoretically create your own nut drivers. That's sort of what you could do with this. But expanding it would be awesome. Obviously, 9/16 is kind of where I would stop using quarter drive, unless it's like a freak application where it's just sort of has to be done that way. 1/2 inch is another logical stopping point. Is there much smaller than a quarter? Yeah, but you know, that's going to again be something, if these 200 that they sell do well, if people have good reviews on them, if people are wanting to buy them, if people that bought them want to get more for, you know, work or a friend or to give to somebody type of a deal, that's what's going to happen. So if you're sitting there and you're like, man, I really needed 3/16, that's terrible, let them know. And then again, you might not ever see this 5-piece set again, but there might be a 7-piece set that has 3/16 and 9/16 as your end caps. So very nice sockets, kind of like a sort of a semi-matte chrome, I guess would be the words to describe it. El Cheapo socket rail. This is one of the good El Cheapo socket rails, I know, because I've used this a ton. Back in the day, these were always fine. They were always the same. Some point in the last 10 years, they all still look the same. Some of them are terrible and don't have spring retention. So these are the good ones. I honestly can't complain, because if you were to see in my old school Craftsman box, that's what I use, is the cheapest socket rails known to man. So right here, we're going to pull the biggest one off. Why? Again, check that out. Positive retention. Why did we pick the biggest one, 1/2 inch? Well, quite simply, it's going to allow me to showcase it the best. We've got to zoom in here. So, if we could get that, man, this glare is just not working. There's the Koken logo. You can see right here. Let me actually bring this up. I think that is a part number, made in Japan. And then if I slide it around, on the other side of Koken, you're going to have 1/2 inch. There's our 1/4 inch drive. As you can see, decent broaching. Everything looks fine there. We get around to the business side. These are all going to be 6-point initially. Maybe you want 12. Maybe you do square stuff. I don't know what you do. But everything looks fine. Like you're thinking, like, okay, that's just a socket. And then there's like, what is that? Is that a wire wrapped around there? Well, yeah, it's basically wire wrapped in a groove, machined into the socket. But look right there. That wire is not only kind of serving as an aesthetic to a degree, it's also flush. This isn't a deal. I have a glove on, so that would be even easier to catch than a bare finger. It's recessed very well. But right there, that is in fact a bearing. So what we will do is grab one of these guys, because they're always here handy for me. Well, the curve took work. Yeah. So right here, man, this is an awkward thing to do looking through the camera. That I'm pushing on is the ball bearing. What that's going to do, if we were here and we had our little you know, 5/16 bolt, whatever it might be. It's going to go in here, and if I push it down past the ball bearing and turn this upside down, it's going to hold it. If we're, you know, running fuel rails, or, you know, a fuel line to the frame rail type of a thing, and you're constantly, you know, like on the creeper and you lean sideways and your fastener falls out, or you're running bolts through the frame rail and you've got the nut falling out, that will eliminate that. It will keep the fastener in place, and obviously once you start threading it on, it'll just pull off and release. So very, very cool concept from Koken. I've got a battery light flashing, which is terrible. I'm going to grab this Stahlwille. We're going to set it on. So right now I've got this locked. If you're constantly dropping your socket, this is a great solution. But we have essentially created a nut driver, right, with fastener retention. So that is amazing, and that's going to tie in with these other items that I'm going to have to try and cover quickly because the battery is going down rapidly. First up, we're going to go with the big one. We've got, let's see here, part number 2769NWF-220. This thing is going to be 220 millimeters long, you might have guessed that, and it is going to set you back $11.20. Boom, right there. You're thinking, oh, screwdriver. Well, take a look here. It's a 1/4 square drive, but there's something special. Number one, this is a little bit longer than you're typically going to have, and number two, it's a wobble. So if I come in here, grab this guy, set this on, we've created essentially what we had with Stahlwille, but man, the Koken wobble is not much. There's a lot of standard fitment things that aren't quite like that, but yeah, there is a wobble there, so when you come off, you get a lot of flex right there. And that's important because a lot of times you'll have like an obstacle. So let's say we're doing valve cover bolts that are leaking type of a deal, right? We come in, if we're straight up, this might be hitting, say, the master cylinder, you know, or like a ballast resistor or fuse panel. If we've got that wobble, I can now go from back here, come over this way, and still articulate the socket that's holding the bolt so we don't drop it down on the hot headers or underneath the car. So, full on and then wobble. This was very cool. I opted to get it in the longer 220 millimeter length. You can see adds quite a bit of advantage there in terms of accessing hard to reach places. Handle style going to be pretty much like we saw with the screwdriver, scaled down a bit. Grayscale, it's got the part number here again, koosh ball retention there. Haven't released that video, so I don't know if people like that term or not, but it is there. Again, my apologies for going faster than usual. Some of you may love it. I'm just trying to get this done quickly. This next one I bought for two reasons. Number one, I wanted the ability to render extra leverage. Number two, I think I know how this was made, and it's pretty hilarious and also pretty brilliant at the same time. This is going to be part number 2769F. It's going to be a little pricier than the... Oh no, I'm sorry. That one was $14.24, and this that I'm about to show you is the cheaper option at $11.20. I'm looking at this sideways, and just this time crunch is kind of killing me. No. I take that back. I was right the first time. This one is $17.16, so it does cost more, and you're going to see why. Business end right here. This is just standard, you know, 1/4 inch square drive. Yellow acetate handle, not my favorite aesthetic, but it's kind of old school cool. The big selling point here, look at this. You've got a drive end here. What does that mean? Well, we can take our third nut grip socket, we can install it on the nut driver, and let's say that, you know, you're still leaking. You cannot get that 318 valve cover to stop leaking oil. So what do you need? You need some freaking leverage, my friend. So what do? You take this, you press down, and you get your trusty little Stahlwille in place. And now at this point in time, you can really get some torque on that thing. So do I like this standalone as itself? Not really. That 220 or the Stahlwille is far superior, but they also don't have a drive end in the back, and that is a selling point. So this is the kicker though. I started looking at this guy, and I was like, man, you know, why is there knurling there, you know? The acetate handle, it has nothing up front to hold it. It's just clearly, you know, like molded in place. And then why would you have knurling on the backside? I was like, I wonder what advantage they think they get by having it on the backside and not the front side. And then it dawned on me, like, what would be knurled right there? And I was like, well, an extension. An extension would be knurled right there. So I come in, as I mentioned, when they sent me the super cool Ratchet with the clear view window, I got the catalog I requested. And if we take a look right here, if I get this out of the way, my bookmarker, boom. Do you see it? That is a 1/4 inch extension. Does that knurling look familiar? I hope it does, because they basically, and like I said, this is kind of cheesy and also so freaking cool, because it's kind of what I would do if I was making this myself. They took a 1/4 inch extension and they just molded an acetate handle over it, and that way you don't have to machine this. You're taking an existing piece and basically just putting an acetate handle to turn it into a nut driver, and also give it the ability to function with a ratchet spinning it from the backside. Pretty freaking smart, if I don't say so myself. Now, a couple things I want to do. I want to get these guys off. If this dies, I apologize in advance. I'm going as fast as I can, but what I wanted to say is, if you want to see more on this, like this holding fasteners or something, which is what I planned to do before I knew the battery was going to die, let me know. I can come in and make a supplemental video. Here with the little Hazet high-end ratchet, boom, you got a really nice, basically, way to hold whatever you're driving, be it, you know, like a hex screw or anything into your dash. Last but not least, just to showcase the versatility of this, again, what I'm treating this as is a build your own nut driver set. I've got my trusty Felo T-handle. These are the most comfortable T-handles you can get, trust me. If you're doing finite precision stuff, I personally love these, but check that out. The fitment is insane, and we've got a really, really cool way of holding our fasteners so we don't lose them. Band-aid will not stay down. So I populated all 5 of them. I'm showing you things you can do. T-handle drive, ratchet drive. You can come in here and have the benefit of a, you know, nut driver plus the ability to torque down or break free with a ratchet of your choice. You've got just standard. Again, this is a fantastic spinner right there. And then you've got the Wobble extra length from Koken. So that's it. That is what I brought in. I brought in the special limited edition 5-piece nut grip set. Again, the size range on that sucker: 1/4, 5/16, 3/8, 7/16, and 1/2. That's going to be your garden variety stuff, whether it's gear worm clamps, whether you're doing fuel lines on a small engine, you know, an automotive application. Pretty much covers the bases. 9/16 would be fabulous to have. I'd love to see it expand into 3/8 and 1/2 inch drive options as well. If you want this, get it now. I'm telling you that again. I make nothing. I'm telling you that so you can get it and enjoy it, see if you like it, and encourage Koken to make more, because this is limited to 200 pieces. Hence why you're going to see this video so soon after we wrap up the other Koken tool haul. But since the battery light's flashing, I'm going to go. If you want to see these in action, which I promise, that's what I plan to do. Right here, this is a 1/4-20 nuts. So where in the world did I put the 7/16? I think it's the acetate guy. No, that's 3/8. Dadgum. It's got to be here. All right, so do I have a bolt? I've got threads there. Check that out. I'm going to do this really fast. LoneStarMopars.com is the website. You can find us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, all 3 at Lone Star Mopars. You see what's happening? The nut is not coming out. So, as best I know, this is 1/4-20, and it's really rough cut because I didn't plan on doing this. If I thread this in, let's picture this as like a stud for your valve covers. You see where we're going with that? Did you hear it snap? Let me do this again. Listen close. I know it's blurry. I'm going fast. Thread this out. So initial bench test, this works. It's a very cool concept. The neatest thing about this is, unlike some mechanisms that get flooded out with debris and gunked up, and then you can't like seat things and you have to clean them and it's really hard to clean because it's small, this is a good system. There's not much to worry about with just a single ball bearing. Initially, the hold is great. How will that perform if you've turned 894 fasteners? I don't know yet. That's going to happen over time. But man, what a cool little setup. If you want in on these, act fast. They're limited to 200 pieces. When I got in, there's like 180-ish left. So it's one of the early adapters of it. But I'm excited about them. It basically lets you build your own nut drivers. If you've been wanting to buy nut drivers and you don't have to have a hollow shaft, or you're like, man, if this would just hold the fastener, this is ridiculous. This is a great deal. 65, you're looking at 13 a piece, but it has a holding function which you typically pay a premium for, whether it's German, American, Japanese, what have you. Holding function equals higher price point. If you're a metric person, or if you do crossover, I believe there's way more selections available in metric, but for SAE people like myself, this is huge. I wanted to get these out so I could use them, see if I like them, because if I do, I'm probably going to buy a second set of those things and take them to work. Gear worm clamps, things like that, junction box screws when they're not just old school pan heads that are slotted. I'm thinking of a whole lot of things I could use that for that would make my life a little bit easier. So the bottom line, it is limited 65. This little guy here, the quarter drive extension with the over-molded handle, which again is kind of cool, it's going to set you back 17-16. You can run it down with your ratchet of choice. Where's the other one? This guy right here, 220 millimeter with the wobble. The reason I opted for that, number one, I kind of liked that handle. Number two, extra length. Number three, wobble. Very versatile setup. If you replicate what I purchased here, you got a pretty sweet little start for a holding function nut driver set. And then you can pair it, Stahlwille spinner, which is my personal favorite. You can just put it on the back end of a ratchet. You can put it on a T-handle. The Vera adapters, whatever you want to do, you can pretty much do it with that. So if you're interested, pick them up while they are available. I don't know if they're going to sell out in 2 weeks. I don't know if they'll be available in April of 2022. I don't know. If you want them, get them while you can. 65 is a fair price in my opinion. Let Koken know if you like them. Let Koken know if you miss them and you want them. Let Koken know if you want to see bigger sizes. Because again, that's what they're looking for. This is like their live market research that you're a participant in. They need to know if these have a marketplace, if they will sell. If they will, they'll be out. There will probably be larger size selection in quarter drive, and maybe they'll expand to larger drive-ins. So I can't believe the battery's still going. But once more, LoneStarMopars.com is the website. Subscribe if you have not. Ring that bell. Just maybe YouTube will notify you of new videos. Otherwise, automotive content we shoot for on Wednesday that hadn't been happening lately for obvious reasons. But tool content should be every Saturday. On that note, really looking forward to using these in a real world application. If you want like a more in-depth when I'm not crunched for time and a battery light, let me know. I'll try to showcase them better. That was the plan till this happened. But we'll see what we can do. And most importantly, I hope you have yourself a fantastic weekend. Thanks for watching. I'll catch you back here next Saturday for another video from the shop.